Thank you for joining this Property Tribes interview, and there is a real buzz in the background and a real buzz about peer-to-peer lending. I'm at the Assetz Capital event and I'm joined by Assetz Capital Managing Director Andy Holgate. So welcome, Andy.
Thank you.
Pivotal week for peer-to-peer lending. What bombshell did the budget drop?
The budget brought in the ability for ISAs to invest in peer-to-peer lending. At the moment, peer-to-peer is subject to taxation of the returns that investors get, and an ISA wrapper will allow them to get a tax-free return. The average cash ISA at the moment is paying between 2 and 3%. Peer-to-peer lending is paying 6% plus. Our own platform pays 12.5%. So a 90% increase in your return through an ISA. Absolutely fantastic news for the industry and a real rubber stamp for what we've done as an industry. That the government is now backing us.
And it's so good for the economy as well, isn't it? Because it's actually going to help the sort of byproduct of the peer-to-peer lending industry. It's actually going to fund the economic recovery.
Correct, it is. We lend to businesses and we also lend to property developers. So we can actually get Britain building again, putting one brick on top of the other, getting more cranes out there that we just don't see at the moment. Certainly outside the southeast you don't, and we can help with that. But we also lend to businesses so that they can invest and grow for the future, creating jobs, creating wealth, getting money back into the economy. And the use of peer-to-peer ISAs, allowing more cash to come into the industry, will help that grow. So great news for the economy.
If we focus specifically on property, obviously one of the things that I really like about the whole peer-to-peer lending idea is that investors can choose their level of risk. So they're very much in control of what their money is doing.
Yes, correct. So we offer a range of different deals and a range of different risks. There are some very short-term lending propositions, so bridging finance, and with businesses we will fund stock coming into the UK that allows people to spend and grow their business, right the way through to longer-term risk where we're funding commercial property over a longer period or residential property over a longer period, and at different loan-to-value levels as well. So there's a real blend of risk. People can choose what it is they want rather than just giving the cash to the bank and letting the bank decide and giving you a pitiful rate of return instead.
I actually liked the way that you said earlier about it actually being a portfolio of managed risk.
Yes, yeah, it is. It's very much a portfolio. Any investor is looking for a portfolio. You should never just choose one. You have to blend your risk across a different number of investments, and we always recommend that you do that. But Assetz Capital gives you the portal to do that. You can have different businesses, different properties, different rates of return. You get that blended risk of return. So yeah, it's great. Always have that portfolio there, and we can do that.
Let's just talk about blending in a slightly different context, because I can see that the members of Property Tribes could look to borrow from Assetz Capital, but could also look to be lending to Assetz Capital because it may be a way to help build up their next deposit.
Yes, exactly that. Certainly the way that the property prices are increasing in the southeast, having a bigger and bigger deposit is needed. If you don't have the right level of deposit, you could lend through us, get that 12.5% rate of return, which is actually greater than the rate that property prices are rising in the southeast, and actually get you to the point where you can actually invest into a property. So yeah, use us to grow your deposit.
So just to finish, Andy, I think we can tell by the sort of vibe here today that there's a huge interest in peer-to-peer lending. The future's looking very bright, isn't it?
It is. As an industry, we're growing, we're doubling every single year. It was £500,000 last year. It will be £1 billion this year. And you can just see by the room here today the excitement that there is in peer-to-peer lending. It's here for the future.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much to Assetz Capital for being a supporter of Property Tribes.
It's our pleasure.
And thank you for joining me here today.
Thank you.